right? How about that? You mean tonight?
Tomorrow. Yeah, tonight.
Oh, now you start watching early.
It's great for these games to finally start counting to get off on the right foot.
Absolutely. I think we've talked with our group of guys about the energy and the intentionality we have to have walking into each and every single game.
Your thoughts of Cole signing his extension yesterday?
We are happy to have him here. You know, obviously, the value we see in him as part of this team, what he's meant to this group and to this organization, and we wanted to make sure we expressed that. And so I'm so happy for him. The guys are happy for him. And we've said this a ton of times about this group. They celebrate each other, right? It's a group that cares and wants the success of each individual, no matter how that happens.
Is there something specific that you've seen his game grow the most over the last couple of years?
Cole and I do a ton of talking about being able to read the game and take what the game gives you. I think he's done a tremendous job of that, of reading the defenses, finding times where he needs to score, and then finding times when he needs to distribute and find his teammates. He's grown so much in that department. The other side is his defense. We've challenged him to be the first guy picking up full court once he checks into the game, to change the way the defense goes, to change the way that teams look at us when they walk in and night out.
You've been coach here for a couple of years. You've been through a lot of preseasons before. Can you get a feeling of where a team is at heading into a season based off training camp? What's your gut telling you?
I think every coach in the league thinks they're in a great space leaving training camp for the most part, because we're all undefeated. So I really think that this group is different in the sense that there's a maturity level about them. I'll say it over and over. We may be young in our age by number, but I think their maturity level and the experiences that they've been in through this last year or so says a lot about them. The way they're communicating with one another, and that we'll talk to them over and over and over again about how much and how well they have to communicate in order to achieve success in this league.
There's been a lot of talk about just the growth and maturity of these guys, but for you as a coach, what do you feel like you've grown the most on throughout these past couple of weeks?
There's different aspects of the game. I think our coaches have done a great job in adjusting to the game plans and the scenarios of practice, being able to communicate more. Like the same way that we're asking these guys to communicate with one another is the same way that we're having to communicate as a staff. So I think if it's the one thing, it's just the level of communication that we're having, throughout the organization to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to doing things.
And I was just going to ask, what's been your most memorable memory with Cole Anthony off the court?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. You know what? I really like going to his camp. I mean, it was just recently this year, but just being able to see him around the kids, see him around the community, I think that's big. Obviously, he has those moments on the court that are dynamic and that he makes gigantic plays and big shots. But I think to see him in the community and how much he's done and how much he's grown there, I think are just such great strides for him and how much he means to this organization.
Houston has so many new parts. What have you seen off of film from them so far, based on the players they brought and the players from other places as well? What do you see from Houston?
Well, watching them, I think they are an Ime Udoka coach team, and from that I mean their ability to switch, their physicality, the simplicity of their plays, but allowing those players to make those plays within the game. They're tough, they're gritty. I think that they present different challenges. They find ways to score, and within those veterans that they have on the court in Dylan Brooks and Van Vliet, like they have guys that are and Jeff Green. They have guys that know how to play the game, so they can put those other young guys in positions to be successful.
But I wanted to ask you about the way the team played last year after the All-Star break and what you guys were able to do. There's a lot of anticipation from the fan base for this team. How important is it to get off on the right foot in front of them?
I think it's big for us, and the group has talked about that. The way in which we start this year is going to be very important. Now, we know it's not an easy schedule, but that's also not an excuse. We've got to make sure that we come out and, again, detail our work. We have to make sure we're not the team that's beating ourselves. And that by beating yourselves, I mean we have to take care of the basketball. We have to do the small details of boxing out and finishing out possessions. We got to get back in transition. All of those little things are going to be big. And so if we're talking about learning from the things from last year, those were the cases that we're going to have to continue to improve upon.
Has there been a point of emphasis in embracing all this 35 years of history and you're going to have a big fanfare tomorrow night with former players, the new jerseys, the new court. Does this team kind of embrace that a little bit?
I love it. The team loves it. They get the tradition and the history behind what this organization has been, and you have to embrace it. You know, to have some of those older players from past generations come back, I think it's great. You know, standing and watching the jersey unveiling with Hidu, Richard, Bo. Jalen was out there as well, Ryan Anderson. I think those situations are big for this group to understand they're part of the legacy of this organization.
With Anthony, where did you see him maybe grow the most over training camp and the preseason?
You know, I'll go back to what I said before, is that his maturity in decision making. I think he's got a resolve about him now that he's comfortable in his own skin when it comes to like what plays he needs to make on the court. Again, whether that's I got to come out and score or I have to make the right decision for my teammates. And then the other side of it is the defensive aspect. Can I walk in on the court and make sure that I'm picking up full court to make sure I change the game defensively?
The Rockets have a lot of guys that you may have scouted in the pre-draft process, Jalen Green, Jabari, Amen Thompson. How much does that play into when you scout the Rockets?
Well, it's always, in any game plan, you want to make sure that you know the personnel, in and out, because there's going to be times you change the way in which you do things defensively, depending on who that person is. And being able to scout them in the preseason and in years past and in the draft is huge because you know tendencies. So you can relay that message right away to our guys. Like, here's what helps them become successful, and here's what we need to take away.
How's your team's health entering opening night?
Right now, we are completely healthy. The only person that we're looking at with a sore knee is Kevon Harris.
Coach, real quick, I just want to ask you about Tremble and his journey.
Yeah.
And kind of the background of his story.
Yeah.
What a good lesson in tenacity, not giving up.
What I say about Jeff and Alex and their group, and they do the background check on guys to make sure that they're the right character fit for this group. Obviously his basketball is at a high level. He has a great basketball IQ. He's tenacious defensively. He can go score. But the other part about it is that his willingness to go through adversity and not getting it right away and being able to push through. And that's the type of guys we have on this team. Guys that are willing to go through adversity, stay positive in it, and then find a solution to get out of it. And I think that's what this group has been put together, the way it has been put together. Thank you, guys.
Obviously, you've been through many opening nights in your NBA career. Just how excited are you for this one?
Yeah, I think it's. I think for everybody, obviously, we've practiced against each other enough, and I'm sure you guys are just as sick of preseason as we are. It's obviously it's a good time to be together, and obviously get the group together. But ready to move on and start this thing for real.
What do you feel like are going to be the main strengths of this team? Obviously, we talked a lot about it during the preseason, but is there something in specific that you feel will be one of the key strengths of this group?
I think in preseason, obviously, you see some positives and negatives and things we need to figure out. And I think defensively, we were really consistent throughout. Obviously, you can factor whatever into that with lineups and all different things. But I think consistently, even at practice, we've been really good on that end. I think it's something. Especially in this league, like you're a good defensive team, you usually get a lot of wins during the season, and obviously that can be a key. And then obviously what we can do out of that, running out of that, obviously lots of guys that can handle, bigs that can rebound and push the ball, and then just getting kind of the shots and the looks that we want to get as a team. I think if we can manipulate the defenses from getting stops into how we want to play offensively, I think we'll.
How do you feel like you've been embraced so far by the city and all the fans here?
I haven't really been anywhere in the city except here, so these guys have embraced me. You guys are kind of friendly. No, it's been good. Like I haven't been here that long, and playing in Utah most of my career, I only came here once every year. So, like I said, media day and all that. Like my family is extremely happy. My kids are happy in school. My wife's happy, and for me to be able to come here every day and. As you guys know, it's such a good group of guys and coaching staff and front. Like it's a really good environment here, and we're lucky to have this. Like to have owners and all that give you a facility like this. So yeah, from that whole overall arching thing, it's been a really good start to the year.
You've been in the league for a while. Can you get a feeling of where a team is at before opening night, or kind of do you have a feeling like that about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always hard. Like I said, with preseason, obviously teams don't play players, play players, and play their kind of like the G League guys. There's all different lineups, but I think what we've been consistently throughout this preseason is like we've worked our asses off in practice. We've played well in the games we've played, from 1 to 20, whatever we had on a roster at one point. And I think we can hold our hat on that regardless of who we're playing, what we've done internally in this facility and the couple games that we've played. We have been consistent through those things, and obviously the regular season is different. We all know that. But I think if we can hold our hat on those few things that I've talked about, I think we'll be off to a good start.
For the Rockets tomorrow, how tricky is it to game plan against a team that has a new coach, not a whole lot of film on them?
Yeah, and a pretty new roster too, obviously, with a couple of guys that they've brought in, and obviously a couple of games you can take stuff from, and obviously every coach, Ime has got kind of his style that probably similar things to Boston, to what Houston's doing in terms of his coaching. And one thing I think as a team, it's like Van Vliet's still Van Vliet, whether he's in Toronto or Houston. He's so knowing those players, knowing the scout individually, and then obviously as a team we figure out what we do with the coaches on how they've been playing in preseason. But yeah, the start of the year is always a bit tougher. You kind of figure things out on the fly, and we've got to be able to adjust quarter to quarter, half by half, and obviously game by game at the start of the year.
How great has it been to see just the high level of competition, especially from these young guys in practice?
Yeah, it's we've practiced hard. It's been good. Jalen wants to wave to you guys, but no, it's been good. Like I said, we've had whatever number of guys through preseason, and we've practiced hard. We've worked on the things we need to work on. Guys have worked really hard to be ready for tomorrow, and obviously tomorrow the record starts counting for real, and we just got to be ready as a group. I think we've got a deep team, a young team. We're going to play the right way, and yeah, everyone's got to be ready to go from now onwards.
You know, as a seasoned player, what kind of insight?
You guys got to stop saying this like you've been around and
I didn't say old. I didn't say old. I said season. I know what that means. That means the same in every country. What kind of insider support have you given to the younger guys? It's funny, but not a lot really. Like, it's such a good group of guys that understand kind of their roles, what the team's trying to do, and I think in the games there's things that I see different to probably how you guys see and to what coach sees, and the one thing about me is I'm always going to voice that, whether they like it or not. And for me, it's been about learning kind of when and how to speak to these guys. And but no, we've got a good group. Like they've taken everything on from coach. They've taken things on from me, and yeah, excited to just get out there tomorrow now and get going. Appreciate that. Feels good, man. Happy to be here. They stuck with me for a few more years. Happy about that. Can't complain.
Jeff Waltman at Media Day said he wants this young core to grow together, and the extension is like an endorsement of that. How nice is it to grow together as a young group?
It's dope. It's dope. You know, just the front office has put a lot of trust into a bunch of young individuals. Me being one of them young individuals, and I think it's dope that they just have that level of trust in us.
You said at Media Day this wouldn't weigh on you. It wasn't done before the season, but now that it is done, does that help you go into tomorrow night maybe with a clearer mind?
Yeah, I mean, main reason I really want to get this deal done for me is, like, one, obviously I love it here, and I really think we have a chance to build something. But for me, just on the selfish side, just, you know, play the game stress free, do what I love, have fun, and just not have to worry about no looming contract, whatever that is. Just go out there, know I'm cool for a few more years, and just hoop and have fun.
You've been a kind of central part of the turnaround, or the turnaround that is expected to happen. How frustrating would it have been to be elsewhere and watch it finally kind of come to fruition? How important was it to sort of see it through?
I can't really imagine being somewhere else right now. I've spent my whole NBA career here. I'd love to spend my entire NBA career here years down the line, but, you know, you never know what will happen. But I know right now I'm here and I'm happy.
You kind of embraced the city. You
go to UCF games and do stuff for them and other events. Just, you know, Orlando kind of felt like a second home to you since you joined the team?
It's more like a main home to me right now. I mean, I live here I'm here now more than I am in New York. So I mean, this is my home. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to be. So I'm happy I'm here.
Have you thought about, obviously you've done a lot of great things on the court, but have you thought about your value off the court and how much of a role that played into your extension?
Man, I don't know. I ain't really thinking about that. I'm just happy I got that deal done. I'm happy I'm here. Yeah, man, I love the team, man. I love everyone here. I'm just happy that I know I'm gonna be here for at least another year or two.
And what was that like going through your first contract negotiation?
It was stressful, man. It was stressful. I don't think people talk about that enough. That it'd be a lot going through your mind, doubts, uncontrollables. It's a lot going on, man. I'm just, happy to have got through it. That's the first one. Hopefully the first of many. But y'all stuck with me. Me and Joe Ingles, that's a hell of a combo.
You eager for these games to finally start counting?
Yeah, I'm excited to get out there, really play some meaningful basketball. And we got a tough challenge in the new and improved Houston Rockets. They got some dogs on that team, so it's going to be a great challenge for us tomorrow, not especially, but in front of an awesome home crowd.
How tricky is it to scout a team like the Rockets with a new coach, new look of a lineup, new point guard?
You just kind of got to go off kind of what we know about the players that we've played, the players they've taken from other teams, that just kind of, take what they've done from there and kind of try to implement it into the Houston Rockets' new system, whatever that is. But, I think we'll probably just scout for individual players. We know what Fred VanVleet can do. We know what Dylan Brooks brings to the table. We know about the dudes they've had there already. And it'll be a great challenge. They're a really talented team, and I'm excited to play them.
Got any thoughts on Amen Thompson?
Oh, that kid's special. Yo, him and his brother are both. Those two kids gonna have a long career in this league. They know how to play. They're both freaky athletic. I'm really high on those two.
You've been through a few training camps now. What is your feeling about where this team is at compared to maybe previous training camps that you've had? Obviously, health has been a big part of this year's camp, but what's your feeling on where this team is at entering the season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think that right now we're probably further ahead than we've been at the start of past seasons, and I'm excited. I think we get to get a real test tomorrow with Game 1 against the Rockets. So I'm just excited to see fruits of our labor, the work we put in. Be able to show that to everyone tomorrow.
All right, Cole, so you've been here a few years. You got a few more years to go.
Just a
What's
few.
your favorite spot in town for food?
For food, Christini's. Italian spot, Dr. Phillips, best spot in town, for sure.
Season opener is just one game, one of many. But getting off on the right foot, how much do you guys want to do that in front of the home fans?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think past 2 years, I don't think we won our first game. So winning that first game, look, it just obviously it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not a huge thing. But I think just for us, giving us that big confidence boost after getting that first win out the way, especially so early in the season, I think it'd be dope for us. And I think that we have a great chance to win this game. We just got to stick to our game plan and be ready to play. That's the main thing.
I know you're thinking game, one game at a time, but knowing that there's a West Coast trip coming up after this, how much more important is it to go 1-0, get that home win heading out on the West Coast trip?
I mean, I think we just always want to try to protect the home court and be our best when we're at home in front of the home crowd. So I think it obviously will give us a lot of good momentum going into that West Coast trip. But as I said, look, we just got to take it one game at a time, and I think that everyone's focus on this team, this organization, is on Game 1 tomorrow.
With Anthony, how have you seen him progress throughout the preseason and training camp?
Anthony, AB, he's a talented kid, man. He has a really great feel for the game. He's a smart kid, and he's athletic, guards. He got a bright future in this league, man. He's got definitely, he's a rookie. He's young. He's still 19. Won't be 20 till next year. So it's just, it's going to be some growing pains, but he's getting it. He's getting it for sure.
Appreciate you.